And joining me live tonight is Yair Lapid. He is the leader of the opposition in Israel. He is live with me tonight from Tel Aviv. Mr. Lapid, thank you for your time. It is a difficult period for your country, for the region, for Iran, for innocent people in all of these places that stand affected. And I know there have been casualties in your country as well. As day 3 comes to an end since this operation began, what's going through your mind? What are your thoughts today, Mr. Lapid? I'd like to begin with that.
Well, the first thought was that you said 3 days, and I thought to myself, it looks like 3 months because of the scale of the events. I just came back here, before talking to you, I came back from the city of Bet Shemesh, in which I visited the site of a missile fall that killed 9 people, among them 3 children from the same family. So what's going through my mind, I'm thinking about the mother and the father of those 3 children. Israel, like India, is a country in which family ties are the most important thing, is the core of the culture. And for us, it's devastating. But we understand that we're fighting a just war. It doesn't happen often, you know, that in 21st century, there's a moral clarity the way there is now. It is a just war against a horrible regime that is not only a danger to Israel and to the entire global community, but also to its own people. Just last month in January, we saw the young people of Iran taking to the streets trying to fight this very oppressing regime. So it is the right war, it is a just war, but it doesn't make it any easier on the people of Israel.
How do you think the war is going from your perspective, Mr. Lapid? War is a difficult and dirty business, but in your view, how is it going? You're calling it a just war that is being fought, but as day 3 comes to a close, how do you think it's going?
Well, I think the war has 3 goals, very different goals. Well, the first one is, of course, to obliterate the nuclear facilities of Iran in order to prevent it from developing nuclear weapons. The second one was to obliterate the ballistic missile operation of Iran. I think we're cut. Can you still listen to me? Can you still hear me?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay, I lost picture. So I'll just keep on going.
Yes.
Anyway, so the second was to obliterate the ballistic missile program of Iran. And the third is to maybe enable the people of Iran to take the fate into their own hands and topple this horrible regime and substitute it with something that is more tolerable for them, for the freedom of young people, for women's rights, and so on and so forth. So I think we're doing well on the first 2, and I don't know about the third.
What kind of an outcome are you looking at, from Israel's perspective? When you say regime change, and you've qualified that this isn't about the country but the regime that's running it, you've called it a terror regime. The Khamenei has been killed, most of the leadership has been eliminated, the country is in a state of collapse. What does Israel want to see happen in Iran? It's easy to say that you want the people to come over, and take power. What does that mean exactly?
Well, it's hard to impossible, very hard to impossible, to change a regime with airstrikes, as successful as they are. And we saw last January the courageous of the young people who took to the streets and tried already to topple the regime. Now we are enabling them, or at least improving the conditions, the command and control abilities of the regime has been demolished or almost demolished, and we saw Khamenei is gone, and the majority of the leaders of the regime is gone. So we have now the second or third column of leaders, and the Revolutionary Guards bases are hit significantly. So the conditions around them is different. The question whether or not they will do something about it, is up to them. If I'm talking to an Indian anchor, so the question is, there going to be an Iranian Gandhi who will free his own people from oppression? So it's up to them. What we did is just taking away an imminent threat from Israel and the region, by obliterating the nuclear program and the ballistic missile program.
How far do you think, Mr. Lapid, this war, the actual fighting, I mean, will go until, the outcome that you describe, can at least begin to become a reality? How far do you think the fighting can go? Because both President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu have said that they are willing to fight on and on until those objectives are met.
Well, yesterday President Trump said up to 4 weeks. This sounds like a reasonable estimation to me. Still, it has to do with the effect of some of the steps we're taking military-wise, and of course, this is unlike we had a campaign in June, but the campaign in June was led by Israel. Now the campaign is led by the Americans. This is the biggest army force in the history of humanity that is working all over. It took them about 48 hours for almost to eliminate the Iranian Navy. So I think the kind of power and the kind of will to use the power is very different. And therefore, it is very dangerous to predict what's going to happen in a war, because wars are complicated and have a tendency to complicate themselves. But still, I think what President Trump said the other day makes sense to me and to the experts around us.
What is your assessment, Mr. Lapid, of how Iran has responded, to the strikes so far? They've hit, US bases. They've sent missiles into your country. Casualties have taken place in Jerusalem as well. Has this come as a surprise, or was this expected, given that this is an unprecedented level of action that has been taken against Iran?
Well, this was expected. This is not what they did. The kind of weaponry they were trying to throw on us is not unprecedented, because we had a similar campaign in June. What was unexpected is the fact that the Iranians has miscalculated terribly by attacking the countries around them. They attacked Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait. This is a mistake. They thought that if they'll do so, then they will create a pressure on the Americans from all the countries in the region, that they will call in Washington and say, listen, you have to stop the war because the Iranians are shooting at us. Instead, they have themselves created an anti-Iranian coalition in the region, in which the Saudis, the Emirates and others say, okay, we're going to respond. We are proud countries and nobody's going to shoot at our people without us responding. So I think this is part of the mistake, one of the mistakes, or the larger mistakes they were making due to the confusion the American-Israeli attack has caused to the regime in Iran.
Are you concerned, Mr. Lapid, that regime change in Iran, while it has seen a significant degree of support, by the expat Iranian population as well as the population within Iran as well, are you concerned somewhere that it could lead to a population of radicalized Iranians, who continue to feel hatred and nurse antipathy towards Israel, and that might be a long-term threat to Iran and not really solve the problem that you claim to be wanting to solve?
Actually, no. I don't think it can be radicalized. This is the most radicalized regime in the world. This is, in ways, a terror organization who took hostage a country. And I think, by the way, that the people of Iran is one of the less anti-Semitic people in the region and in the world. Only the regime is radical and anti-Semitic the way they are. And it can't get any worse. I mean, anything that will exchange this regime will be better than the regime. Again, hopefully, like India, like Israel, like the United States, it will be toppled, and then a democracy will rise from the ashes. But anything will be better than what we have now.
Because the United States doesn't have a great record of, leaving a place better than it was before the bombing actually began. You've seen how history has multiple examples of that, Mr. Lapid. Does that somewhere leave you concerned, or are you sure that this is the way to make things better in Iran?
No, you're right. And this is why I was saying it's up to the people of Iran, first and foremost. We can improve the conditions, we can create or enable some of the conditions, But it's up to the people of Iran to make up their minds about what is it that they want to happen in the country. Iran is an ancient culture. Iran is a glorious culture. I mean, if you look at the East hemisphere, Israel, Iran, India. These are ancient cultures with a great history, and Iran deserves better. But it's up to the people of Iran. I agree with you that regime change coming from the outside with airstrikes is rare or impossible.
Is there a plan, however? You know, from the outside, the perception is that the bombing is taking place, but those ordering the strikes don't really know what to do next in terms of how this regime change can happen and how the people of Iran can take back their country. Is there a real plan in place or something that can be executed where the reins of power are handed to the people in Iran, Mr. Lapid, in your view?
Well, I think there was a very clear plan about the nuclear facilities and about the ballistic missile facilities. I think there was an understanding of how the axe of power within Iran is working, how if you hit, for example, the headquarters of the Revolutionary Guards and the Basij, this might help the people of Iran to change the regime. But of course, this part of the war is not as clear as the first part of the war. There's not a facility or a factory or a single place you hit, and you in this way you create a regime change in Iran. This is way more complicated than this. So there's an unknown factor in it, which is how are the people of Iran going to behave opposite the circumstances.
Final question, Mr. Lapid. The Indian Prime Minister was in your country a few days ago, in fact, just before the operation actually began. India, as you know, has had good relations, obviously, with Israel, also with Iran and all of the countries in the Gulf as well. Do you see a role for India? Because this is a unique diplomatic position, having warm relations with the countries that are at war with each other right now. Do you think India needs to do more or can do more?
Well, I think India needs to improve the great friendship we already have with Israel and beware of Iran. I mean, I know the Bengal tiger is the national animal of India, but we all know it's not a great idea to try and ride the tiger. And Iran is the tiger you don't want to ride because it will turn to you and bite you. This is a terror state, this is a rogue state, this is someone you cannot trust. And we live in a very different world than we used to. It's instead of, an international order or world order that we had for 80 years, now it is changing into little local or multi partnerships. And the partnership Israel has with India is unparalleled because we have the same values. And I think any partnership with Iran will end bitterly and is not a good idea. This is something I assume the people of India understand. I mean, you don't know how appreciated was the visit of Prime Minister Modi in Israel just the other. We all knew we were going to war. We all understand he took a risk. We all understand he came here to show sympathy, and it was heartwarming and blessed, and we are all thankful.
Well, just like you, Mr. Lapid, we wish for peace and we wish your country very well. Once again, I offer our thoughts and prayers with the families who've lost loved ones in the cities that have been struck, and we hope peace between all the countries in this region return very soon. Thank you, Yair Lapid, for speaking to NDTV.
Thank you, Shiv. Thank you.